Horror isn't just jump scares. For some characters, it's a journey from victim to victor.
This is Final Girls, the podcast where we analyze the genre's iconic leading ladies.
These women don't run, they reload, and we gather survival tips along the way.
I'm Kelly, a film grad and slasher enthusiast.
And I'm Sarah, a pop culture writer with a killer instinct for subtext.
So choose your weapon because this is gonna get messy. Hello, Scream Things. We are still in mostly spooky season.
Yeah.
Although by the time this drops, it's going to be almost Thanksgiving season.
Well, it's also going to be almost Sagittarius season.
That's true.
Your season.
Yeah.
Almost your birthday.
Yeah, very close.
Yeah. Hi everyone. How's everyone doing? It's been a day for both Kelly and me today.
Yep.
We're both, ready for a fun little chat about Deena from Night at the Reaper. But before, how you doing? How you doing, Kelly?
Yeah. I think that Sarah and I both feel like this month has been very packed.
Oh my God, yeah.
And like that's between work, family, for Sarah, house stuff, and like podcasting.
We've been guesting on a lot.
A couple of guest
Yeah.
spots. And I have been trying and failing to keep up with my Shudder reviews, but I will finish to the end. It's probably not going to happen by Halloween at midnight.
But again, you're a completionist, so you'll do it.
I'm a completionist. I'm not giving up on this. I'm watching 31 fucking movies. Fortunately, some of it is like wrapped up into our actual like content.
That's true. Yeah. Well, that's good. All is good here. When this episode comes out in November, we're recording this end of October. I will say I'm a spooky season girl, but I fucking love the holidays. And mostly because I like being cozy and it's funny because, living where I live, I'm like, we're literally buying furniture for outdoors so we can, have dinners outside in January. But I do love a good cozy overcast, like rainy day. So those get, more and more likely this time of year, which I love so much.
That's my favorite thing too. It's just that the closer we get to Christmas, the more I start being like a little bit of a Grinch.
Okay, that's fair.
And I'm not gonna like get on a soapbox about Christmas. It's just like, I don't know, something about it I just don't vibe with, but I mean, I still celebrate.
Yeah. Well, we get a black Christmas tree and
nice.
Have you seen our Christmas tree?
I think I have.
Yeah, the beetle tree. We have a black Christmas tree, but now that we have a house and we have bigger space, we have to get a new black Christmas tree. But we get a black Christmas tree and we adorn it with purple lights. And we have like this black and white striped ribbon that we run through the tree. And then we have bright green ornaments. So it's our beetle tree. And we have like a black and white kind of like spirally.
I definitely remember
that looks like the sandworm. And then of course, instead of the star, one Halloween, it was like after Halloween, I don't know if you do this too, but after Halloween, we go to like Michael's or wherever and we just buy all the clearance stuff. Yeah. And so one year we literally bought like 5 plastic skulls just for whatever reason. And we turned that into one of the Christmas tree topper. So I'm really excited for that because I like the holidays so much. And I do like this Tim Burton version of the holidays. I tend to decorate like November 2nd. I kind of go right into it.
That's funny. Well, I mean, yeah, but yours is still kind of relevant to both. I tend to keep up my Halloween decorations as long as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And this is like, people are going to think this is so lame, but I'm such a digital weirdo that I have a projectioner that I use to project the decorations like they have spooky Christmas trees on there and everything. They're really, really cool. They're like animated and stuff. And so I know it's not like as cozy as a real tree, but it sure is easier to clean up.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Was segue because we don't need to. I don't want to, and I'm like always cautious of this. I don't want to become a podcast
like the banter at the beginning
for like 45 minutes. Trust me, guys. we're not going to become that. We just have a little
We
bit of
just like
catching up
to
to do once
chat.
in a
Yeah,
while.
yeah. Uh,
Um, yeah,
totally. Yeah, and this movie just kind of this was a listener request from our friend listener Nick. Nick, thank you so much for requesting this one from us. We didn't have it on our list, and
I
it
had never heard of it.
surprisingly isn't on your Shutter list.
Yeah.
So
It must have come out like when I don't know when it showed up on Shutter,
yeah, I don't know.
but I was like pretty thorough, so maybe was released after, I don't know. But
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to, Nick. Okay, I'm going to direct this directly to you, our wonderful Scream Thing, Nick, who requested this. I felt like it was missing, kind of like this like heart to it, and it felt kind of like
that's fair.
here's the thing, I'll let you get into your
Sure.
thing. It felt like there's been a lot of really fun slasher movies that have come out, especially slasher movies that like harken back to the 80s. And this one tried that formula, and again it's a formula, it's like A B C D
Very
and
much
then
so.
yeah, and this one followed it, but it felt like it was missing kind of like an engine in it. Like it just
Okay.
felt like it was the body of the car, but it didn't have an engine.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's, I'm going to preface that. I say that, and I don't want to discourage Scream Things from sending us, recommendations or requests if you're worried we're not going to like it, because we actually really enjoy talking about movies that one of us likes and one of us doesn't. It actually
Yeah.
is really fun. So
I always tell Sarah, I've probably said this before on the podcast, that my favorite episode of ours to re-listen to is I Still Know What You Did Last Summer.
yeah,
Because with like the rage
yeah, yeah.
came through in our
Yeah,
voice, and it's so much fun to talk about movies that are
that we
maybe
don't,
like
yeah, that maybe we
not
don't like.
great.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know that I don't think we've seen worse. Even if
Oh,
you don't really
totally.
enjoy this, it's
Oh,
still
totally.
very competently made. But yeah, so let's just get into it. This is Night of the Reaper. So, college student Deena returns home and reluctantly babysits for her friend's job, like in place of her friend, only to become the target of a masked killer known as the Reaper. And it is written and directed by Brandon Christensen and I assume his brother, Ryan Christensen,
Yeah, that's what I thought
as a
it
co
was
writer.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. And they also worked on Z and Superhost, which I've also seen around for a bit,
Hmm.
and we'll probably watch those. It stars Jessica Clement as Deena. She is Harper on Gen V, if anyone watches that. And she was also in Dream Scenario, which has been on my list for so long because
Hmm.
Nick Cage. Um, the more recognizable face here is Keegan Connor Tracy, who plays Liz, um, who has an interesting role here. And she was in Final Destination 2, Supernatural, Once Upon a Time, Bates Motel, stuff like that. A lot of these actors are kind of more like TV oriented actors.
Mm.
So Ryan Robbins, who plays the sheriff, he was in lots of stuff like Riverdale,
Hmm.
which I never saw, but Riverdale comes up a lot, just like Supernatural does.
It does. Is
Maddie Finocchio, I
that the
hope I'm
friend?
saying that's the other officer who his character name is Butch Cassidy. Just like, okay, it's a little on the nose, but he played the doctor in Final Destination Bloodlines, and he was in Riverdale.
Oh,
And lastly, the sister, Emily, I actually didn't realize this when I was watching it, but then I got excited after. She is played by Summer Howell, who was Alice in Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky. So
oh, wow.
yeah, Curse of
Huh.
Chucky was actually her first role when she was, I don't know, she's probably like 9. And so that was pretty exciting.
I recently rewatched all the Chucky movies and Child's Play, and oh my God, I love them so
They're
much.
so much fun.
They're so much fun,
Yeah,
and there's a couple of characters we can do on the show,
absolutely, we will.
which will be fun.
Okay, well, we can get into it. Dina.
Well, so let's give this character her little snapshot. So we have a very, very, at the beginning, I should say, a very paint by numbers. And, we're not going to like give details of her entire arc, but we start with Deena as like this very, seems like paint by numbers, babysitter. It's interesting we talk about how she's a paint by numbers because she's a babysitter, and we just talked about Lori, and Lori kind of like set the stage for this babysitter thing.
I mean, this is
Um,
Halloween. Like up
yeah.
until the last 20 minutes of this movie, this is basically Halloween.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. She's got a little bit more of like a jaded perspective.
She had a tragedy.
She did, and we don't know what it is, but she's like, her friend is her, she has this slutty friend.
Yep.
And her friend is like the one that kind of pushes her. She feels a little bit more like Julie from I Know What You Did Last Summer than maybe Lori.
That's fair.
But she kind of has this back in town for the weekend again. Another one of the things that
Yep.
I think is a big like final girl thing. She's either back in town or she's new to town
Mhm.
because then it kind of throws her off her game,
Yeah.
makes her a little disoriented. So she's back in town for the weekend from college. She's a major in criminology,
Yep.
which is an interesting detail. And she doesn't have time for cute boys because, quote unquote, like her head hasn't been in the game. So clearly there's been something there. And her friend's like, how are your parents? And she's kind of has to tiptoe around it. So there's
Mhm.
clearly, like you said, clearly been a tragedy. She's very detached.
She is detached. It's funny though because when her friend is asking her if she wants to go out and party and make a bunch of guys really blue balled, she's like, "Yeah, that sounds great. Like, are you free tonight?" So it's
Hmm.
like she is game.
She
She's
is.
she's reserved and she's detached, but she's still willing to go out and party. Although that obviously doesn't happen because then her friend has a shitting fit.
Yeah, which is funny.
It is a funny thing.
Yeah. Well, but she also she has this like she's detached, but she also has this kind of guilt, and like she goes
Mhm.
and picks up her dad's medicine, and like
Yeah.
she just her mom is super distracted, so
Yeah.
you just kind of feel for her that it just seems like life just kind of fucking sucks.
I wonder if maybe this contributes to some of your sense of there not being like a central engine to hang the
Hmm.
movie on because she's so um kind of empty
Yeah,
and we don't really
yes,
see
yes.
a lot of warmth or charisma from her until she's interacting with the little boy that she
Yeah.
ends up babysitting.
Well, on paper, she's like just classic final girl, but then when you watch her, you're like, there's something missing. But we find out why there's something missing.
Yeah, we do.
And when we get that kind of Gone Girl twist, which I know we'll get to, um, it like, but that's the thing. I didn't fully buy it when we get the twist.
Well, yeah, I think part of that is because there's this really weird tonal shift in the movie
Yes.
where the movie takes itself pretty seriously for most of it. I mean, we do get like the callbacks to kind of more retro slashers, but it's still not silly by any means. And then the ending takes it into major camp territory. And
Mhm.
so it does feel a little bit unearned.
Unearned is a good word.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit like it comes out of nowhere, although I still enjoyed it just for the what the fuck aspect.
Oh,
So,
totally. And it does absolutely come out of nowhere. But
yeah,
this movie does have, it has the 80s vibe. So it has like the VHS kind of intro. It has the
I
synth
like the intro a
music.
lot.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
has the clothes and kind of
Mhm.
the hair and the makeup. And that's what I mean. Like there's a lot of movies that do that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I had this conversation with Sean. I was on a podcast last night talking about Jeepers Creepers with Sean's Horror Corner, which I will link in the show notes. But one of the things I was mentioning about Jeepers Creepers, which was made in 2001, was I love how it's a timestamp of its time.
Yeah.
Because especially recently, you get this like renaissance of like slasher type movies, and it harkens back to the 80s, but it feels like it's present day. Like
Right.
it's not a timestamp. Whereas and that's what I think didn't work with this one because there are certain things that works with. And like even that movie, The Final Girls,
Mhm.
or even like Stranger Things, some of them work if the engine, I guess. I guess it's
Yeah,
just
or
missing
like
that engine.
even if there isn't a central engine, we should think of a different a better term
Yeah.
for this. Sorry, we're both
Heart,
like
the
our
heart to
brains are
it. Yeah.
yeah, sure, the heart of the movie. But even if it doesn't have that, like VHS Halloween, although it
Yeah.
wasn't a great VHS entry, I mean some of it was fun, but like that still feels like it has an authenticity that
That's a
this
good point.
one is
Authenticity.
missing a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So the whole story, shtick story is about it's, again, it's the 80s, so we're talking like VHS tapes.
Yeah.
And this sheriff in town who again has this some of this feels very Stranger Things,
Hmm.
who has, he's kind of the Mr. Loomis character, maybe. I don't know. Um, he
Yeah.
he has he has also had a tragedy, which we don't really learn much about. He has this young son, and the son is the one that Deena ends up babysitting, because her friend who is sick isn't like she that's the difference. Her friend isn't pawning off her kid on the final girl because she's
Yeah.
gonna go like meet up with dudes.
Yeah.
She's genuinely sick.
Genuinely ill,
And we find out
which is not
why.
her fault.
It's not her fault. But she was supposed to babysit this kid, and Dina babysits this kid, and this cop has lost his wife, and it's this kid's mom, and there's all kinds of tragedy, and there's just a lot of unexplained death. And then we get these tapes start showing up, and they say Night of the Reaper, and they're basically just snuff
It's basically
films.
sinister,
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
where you just see like a death play out in like grainy footage. Although the deaths aren't really that interesting.
They're not.
Like they're just not very creative or dynamic. I mean, Sinister has like the beds being pulled into the pool and stuff,
Yeah.
which is like still haunts me.
Oh
But
my God. And the lawnmowers.
yeah.
Yeah, that
Oh,
movie. Yeah, that movie. I actually really love that
I just gotta
movie.
chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that was really scary. I mean, I don't think this movie is necessarily going for scary, which is ironic because, as I've said before, this is literally my worst nightmare: is
Yeah.
babysitting, being
Hmm.
alone in the house, and then being freaked out because you like hear and see things. Um, but yeah, the funny thing about the whole like Reaper character is they don't really build a mythos around it. It's not like
Yeah.
people have heard about this for decades and they speak of it every Halloween or something. It's like they're literally learning about it now. They know about the mask, I think, but the like Night of the Reaper thing is not a character that people have spoken about extensively, and even the design is very boring.
Hmm.
Like it's very, very basic. It's just a black, hooded cloak and a really tacky skeleton mask.
Like
Um,
Ghostface. I mean,
like Ghostface.
yeah, but there's something not memorable about
It's
the
really
Reaper.
generic looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I appreciated later that the movie threw in her like crazy makeup, which
Yeah.
is looks way better
Like
than the
ghost,
mask.
like what do they call? Why am I blanking?
Like Dia de los Muertos almost, but
Yeah, yeah, it's like corpse paint and black
yeah,
metal. That's what it made me think of.
it looks really cool.
It does, it does. Um, One thing I absolutely had to, I mean, I think it's another reason why I'm having these thoughts about this movie is how many dogs die.
Okay, okay.
And
I
that's
was gonna
part of
mention that
it.
too.
That's
It
part
is
of it.
part of it, and we hear it too.
Yeah, the
Like it's
hearing,
not
it's
like
horrible.
I mean, it must have happened like 5 or 6 times that there's like
Yeah.
dog corpses on screen.
Well,
And
and
I
you see the aftermath of it right after it happens.
and like multiple shots of the same like
Hmm.
dog, and that was one of the first things I wrote in my notes is like, what with all the animal death?
Yeah.
Don't they
Yeah.
know that nobody finds
Nobody
that
wants
fun?
that.
Like,
Nobody
okay.
wants that.
This movie doesn't go far enough into, hey, we're going to be really, really disturbing
Yeah.
to warrant dog
Yeah.
corpses.
Yeah. We're not
Okay.
talking like Pet Cemetery situation
Right.
here. Yeah, and it's also it's part of this Reaper's like game
Yeah, but I don't
is
really get
I
it.
don't either. It's like, is it like the tell that he's coming for you that you find like a dead
Or like to
dog?
lure you outside, but I don't, I don't know.
It doesn't
It's not
explain it.
really, no.
It doesn't really explain it. But yeah, we get a lot of dog death. Um, but we also start to see Deena like her at first she's like really curious and of course there's lots of jump scares and we have like and she's kind of she's sweet she's very much like Lori to Max where she's
Yeah.
giving it bribing him with sugar to give her the tour of the
House tour.
house. She also finds like a bottle of rum and like sneaks a sip which
She's just drinking right from the bottle,
yeah, yeah.
which is
Um,
like her sister, spoiler,
mhm,
her sister who was smoking cigarettes that she found in the house.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, and we also get the side story of this. So while we're watching Dina babysit, we're also getting this side quest of this sheriff trying to figure out what these movies are because he got a video from the night of the Reaper of whoever this Reaper is killing his wife because we learned that there was a tragedy, but it was a car accident, and we find out that it was all orchestrated by this one killer, and they basically snuffed her out and took a video of it. And so now he has personal stakes in finding out who this Reaper is.
it's really weirdly set up. Like
It
the
is.
yeah, I guess, well, the Reaper causes the accident somehow, and then she's still alive, and so they just start like bashing her face against the
Yeah.
steering column until
Yeah.
it's like, okay. I feel like any competent sheriff would see that her face was shattered multiple times and not
Yeah.
just, struck once when the car hit. The car's not totaled or anything. The accident really doesn't even look that bad.
Yeah.
So then the immense level of violence inflicted on her face and skull seems like it would be a tell. But
Yeah. Yeah. It was that there's no real
some of these
explanation.
sheriffs are not good at their job. I think
Yeah.
that was maybe the
Like in Jeepers Creepers, it's funny. It feels
well, that's
like
true.
all these movies that I'm watching in a row have felt very kismet for this episode.
I mean, they have, like, I get it. These movies have to have incompetent or unruly sheriffs because otherwise they would
They would
solve
catch
the
the
yeah,
killer
and
right
catch it.
away. Yeah.
But this sheriff is like pretty aggressively unlikable for most of the movie, and he's
Hmm.
just kind of trying to um it's funny because early in the movie he says obviously a really telling line, which is like, it's never who you think it is. But then like he gets extremely laser focused on the two young guys to the point of like railroading the hell out of them for like almost the entire movie.
Yeah.
um and so it's tough.
I will say there's a part. So there's these two boys that you don't really know how they fit in. You're kind of like, are they like a Scream situation,
Yeah,
Ghostface situation? Are they the good guys? Do they come
yeah,
save her? You don't really know like what their deal is.
right,
And one of them is Chad, and he's like curly hair. They're all teenagers. They're all like
yeah.
19, 20. And this kid, he has like a camcorder. He likes to like videotape stuff. And they bring him in because there's some evidence that kind of points to maybe he was involved in this Reaper shit. And
His car was like seen at the
yeah,
crime scene.
with like the license plate or the
License
sticker on
plate.
the back or something like that. And he's sitting at the table and being interrogated, and there's all kinds of things he does that I'm like, yes, this is exactly what you should be doing
He's
when
like, I
cops.
want to speak to my lawyer.
Yep, Miranda rights.
I need my
Am I
Miranda
under
rights.
arrest?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was super, super smart about it. He,
He's
he's
like,
like,
I'm gonna sue you.
yeah, he's like, this is bullshit. You don't have a warrant. If I'm under arrest, give me my phone call. So
Yeah,
like super smart. When I saw that, I was like, we don't often see that.
that's true.
So, so I'm a fan because that's like
Yeah.
literally Scream things. I'm not a lawyer or anything, but you have rights, so learn them.
Yeah. But
And
that's what
clearly,
makes it so frustrating when the cop just
oh, he
tramples
just
over
goes,
his
well,
rights
and
like
that's
for
what
the entire
happens.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That felt really realistic, even though it probably wasn't meant to. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was fun to watch. Watch a kid like, stick it. So
Yeah.
like legally with his rights. There's not a lot, it's very slow. This movie is extremely slow.
That was something that I was that reminded me of Halloween as
Yeah,
well.
that's true. That's a good
Where the
point.
whole movie there's some tension building, and then everything happens at the very, very end. That's what this movie is. There's
Yeah.
too much setup, and like, oh, yeah, we get the concurrent storylines of with the cop and every to add like a
Hmm.
little bit more action and intrigue, I guess. But it she's not even babysitting and in peril until like honestly over halfway through the movie, and it's
Yeah.
not a very long movie either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, there is some cute, I say cute. I overuse the word cute. There are some cute jump scares in there where it genuinely is like, ooh, that's spooky. And there's like moments that seem really kind of like, supernatural horror, which is kind of fun. You see the lightning and the thunder, and
yeah,
then the person like their image in the mirror is like faced forward instead of sideways like it should
yeah.
be. And then you see there's a moment where she goes down to the basement where she's not supposed to be down there, and she sees like Abby, the mother who passed away in the car accident. She sees her like wedding dress hanging up, and she was like just right before that it was in the box. So there's like spooky elements to it.
I mean, I thought it was pretty rude of her to like, okay, so she wants a house tour from the kid, which
Hmm.
makes more sense later. But at the start, I was kind of like, why are you being so snoopy?
Yeah.
And so she's like, oh, what's this room? He's like, it's the basement. We don't go down there anymore. Maybe because there's traumatic shit down there,
Yeah.
like related to his dead mom. And she goes right to the box with the wedding dress and is like pulling it out. And I'm like, are you rifling through this kid's dead mom's stuff in front of him as he's like, please, can we go back up? Like,
She also is kind of like, what, you're gonna stop me? Like, it's not a big deal. Like, no, like her
yeah.
whole thing was, he's like, we don't do it. And she's like, whatever.
I mean, yeah, but I guess that's why it took me a while to. I mean, I don't know if I ever feel like I got a good read on her character.
That's what I mean. It's like missing kind of this heart to it, where it's like on paper, she checks all the boxes. And
Yeah,
this movie checks all the boxes. But
yeah.
when you see it, there's something missing. There's like
Something
this.
doesn't hang together.
Exactly, exactly. And she definitely fits that. So that's kind of where I feel like this is very Gone Girl. This is a very, what's the character's name in Gone Girl? What's her name? Amy something.
I just know the actress is Rosamund Pike.
Yeah, it's like Amy something. Sorry, Scream Things. I'll remember it as soon as we hang up here.
Also,
Yeah. So there's this huge, like second into third act twist. Probably exactly
you're right,
same point in
Amy.
this. Yeah, exactly the same point as Gone Girl, and you get insight, which actually I think this was a good payoff. You get insight, you get this, you see that actually she had orchestrated this whole thing with the babysitter, with the sheriff, so that she could bait the Reaper.
Almost like a jigsaw trap.
Yes,
She
she
literally
booby,
says like, "Do
yeah,
you want to play a game?"
yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay, we're just going straight into that."
Yeah, I feel like she kind of like booby trap. Well, not booby traps. I just,
Well, she does very little though to set it up in the house. She puts like pieces of paper up that say like
yeah.
your life is over.
Exactly, exactly. And you find everything out because you hear her like freaking out. Like you see the Reaper come into the house
This
and you
was
hear
clever.
this was clever. That's what I mean. That this has a good payoff. You hear her voice freaking out and that you see that she had just been on the phone calling the cops. And then you're kind of behind, you're seeing the scene from the Reaper's perspective, and you see that what ended up happening was it was a tape player that she had recorded herself, and it was on the table. And when the Reaper gets to the table, she basically like clonks her out. And then we get the start of the second act, which it turns out that Deena set this whole thing up so that she could get back at the Reaper, because the Reaper is the one her who killed her sister, who was the babysitter in the opening, that died in the opening scene.
She was like, it's like the deputy of the town or something,
It's
Liz
the one,
Talbot.
yeah. And it's funny because they set her up as being like this like misdirection, like as this like sweet
Totally.
woman, because
Oh, these poor dogs.
she's worried about the dogs that had died. She created like a little like cemetery for them at the top of the hill. She like, smiles to Deena when she sees her at the pharmacy picking up her dad's
Yeah.
medication. So yeah, we learned that the killer is this female sheriff.
But it's
Um,
like it's not um but why though? Like it's so I didn't really understand her motivation other than that she's obviously sadistic and wants to kill people and enjoys killing. But I thought there was going to be something to do with like she wanted to take the wife's place. Like maybe she was into the sheriff and she wanted to be
mm,
with him, so she killed his. But then I don't know why she would kill
maybe she
her.
was. Well, because like
Maybe.
the friend wanted to
Yeah,
like
that was
get with that, which
weird.
was creepy.
Very creepy.
So maybe he's got this like sexual like energy that everyone is like, ooh,
Yeah, I
final
don't.
daddy.
Yeah, didn't really strike me that way, but
I know, same, same, same.
teach their own. But then also it didn't fully make sense to me. First of all, the movie starts twisting,
Yeah.
turning like all over the place at the end, and I think that's okay because this movie needed something like that to at least set it apart a little bit
Hmm.
because like you're saying most of the movie is very paint by numbers of like babysitter in danger against a threat, right? And so they obviously wanted to subvert that in some way, and so they did it in like a Tarantino style like history was wrong kind of thing. And that's fine. But I didn't fully understand how Deena knew that this woman killed her sister because all she really says is I saw you at the funeral, which she already admitted to being at she was at all the funerals. She lives in the town. And she's like, I followed you. What does that mean?
I
Followed
don't
her
know.
where? What did you
I
see when you followed her?
Well,
Like, I don't
maybe
understand.
I 100% with you. Maybe, and this is purely speculation, maybe she was just setting this whole thing up because she just wanted to avenge her sister's death, period.
Yeah.
And maybe she didn't really have a plan other than just like killing whoever it was,
Yeah.
whether whoever it was behind the mask, because it didn't really matter at that point, whoever it was killed her sister. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then she was like, "Oh, it was you." Okay, I don't know. That's my interpretation.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, what did you think of the secondary twist that that one dude who was being railroaded by the sheriff actually
Oh,
was in
Chad.
on it?
Oh, that was weird.
I was annoyed by the moment in I almost said the cemetery because that's what it looks like outside their house. Actually, this was a
Yeah.
nice setting. I like it with the woods and like it's pretty dark outside and whatever. But she sets up this massive facade of like hanging Halloween decoration style skeletons. And
Yeah.
then she's going to shoot the killer. And of course, she pauses too long and she's like she gets the um caught by the young dude who was helping the other woman for some reason. Like he said that they're both artists in their own way or something. Like, were
Yeah.
you wanting to capture her kills on camera for some sort of.
Well, she asks Liz, "Why did you kill Emily, her sister?"
And she says,
And
why
she's like,
not?
"Why not?"
Which is very much a ripoff of the stranger's answer, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. You're so right about that.
So, okay, that's not. We need more than that at this point. We've heard that answer.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just a couple of artists. Chad says something to Deena when they realize Deena's now turning into the predator, not the prey, although at that point they had gotten the one up on her.
Like, she's
Oh,
not very good at this.
yeah, she's not. And they were like, "You're just jealous because we made Emily the star."
Like,
It's
okay.
like I don't think Deena was trying to be the star,
Right. I'm
but
pretty sure she was just trying to live her life. And so, yeah, I will say that this endings, like towards the end, does have a really great scene, which is the head explosion.
Yes, I totally agree. I wrote the same
Because
thing.
that shocked the hell
Me
out
too.
of
I
me.
was like, did I just see that?
And this movie did not like present you with that level of violence
Nope. Until
before
that
this.
moment.
And so I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, they were saving up for like this money shot. Um, it
Yeah.
is significant.
Seriously. You're so right about that. It like comes out of nowhere. We get a shotgun blast to Chad's head and see the entire thing blow
It's
off.
not even a shotgun blast though. It comes
Is it
from like the
shotgun?
walkie-talkie, I think.
Oh, is it?
It's like there's
See,
some there's
that
some
doesn't it's
implication that so she drops this line at the very beginning of the movie where she's talking to her dad, and it's like a Chekhov's gun situation where she's like, I'm learning about explosive chemicals in school. I'm like, for criminologist?
you're
And
right.
then
I didn't
I
put that
get
together.
what, like, how, okay, I don't know. So then she became like a master bomb maker or something. I
Yeah,
mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the shotgun did suddenly appear and I don't know. But that's the thing. It's not, um, it's a bit messy.
it is messy. I will say Dina does the double tap,
She does do the double tap. She does do the
which
double
we
tap.
always say, come on, do the double tap. Like that's one
Yeah,
area she's not like Julie from I Know What You Did Last
that's
Summer.
true. Julie never learned that lesson to this day.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good like kind of pinhead Cenobite types like taunting
Yeah.
that she does that Liz does. Like she says, I captured Emily and Abby's last moments. I wanted you to be here to capture hers and like shows her the video of it while she's like,
She's like, I'm gonna have both your breaths, like your last breaths sync up,
yeah,
like
which
when
is
she's showing her.
very, very traumatizing to hear, which felt very Cenobite.
Yeah.
But but yeah, it's the the finale, the climax, she turns into there's so much back and forth where she like
Yeah.
baited and then she gets baited and then
It starts to get pretty cliche,
it does, yeah.
uh and I think that I would have liked this movie a lot more if instead of going this route with the killer kind of still being like very taunting until the very end,
Hmm.
if what we got was, okay, the killer is now in the house, now realizes that she's been caught in a trap essentially,
Hmm.
and then is like terrified and brutalized
Hmm.
as like punishment for the things that she did. Basically like in Death Proof.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert for Death Proof. But like that movie's so satisfying because we get to see this like monster of a person put in his place to the point of non-existence, and I think that
Fucking love that.
yeah, if they had gone that route in this movie where she spent the last like 20 minutes like absolutely terrified of Deena as Deena's like hunting her,
That would be
I think that would have
amazing.
worked better. I
Yeah.
think it would have worked better, but
I also think there maybe and maybe this was just the writing, but we could have maybe seen a little, maybe seen a little bit more, like emotional strength from her because we see like she's like we said she's very detached, and I feel like maybe if there was, that's why it feels like it comes out of nowhere. And if we had seen more of the emotional stakes for her at the beginning, I don't know.
well, why keep the sister connection a secret? Like just
Yeah,
lead with that. And so
yeah,
we're like on our side, like, oh no, she's lost her sister and it like tore apart her family and
yeah,
everything. Like, what does it add to hold off on that except that she feels so flat and empty
hmm,
for most of the movie?
yeah,
Uh where like I mean you can figure it out essentially, but I think that might have helped.
yeah.
So
Well, and then we get this final showdown, and we have, again, a Halloween situation
yep.
where it's the
Yep.
sheriff, the guy with the gun that
Hmm.
stops the killer, and then they do a cover up, which that's interesting.
That is yeah, interesting is one word for it. I was thinking like no fucking way.
Yeah, right. Well,
No fucking way.
yeah, because they're like, how do we call this in? Like, what do we do about this? And they decide
Yeah.
to just keep it between the two of them. The sheriff is like, oh, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call her in as missing and we're going to bury her and we're going to call her in as missing. And then I'll do like a fake investigation and we'll be like, oh, she did, like, we'll reveal that she did this. And then now she's gone and everyone's fine.
But like also, what about the little kid? Like you can't trust the little kid not to say
You're
anything.
right. I didn't even think of
He was fucking part of
that.
it. Like multiple there's
Oh, so many plot holes.
multiple breakpoints here, but then also yeah, they move Chad's body and like pose him like he shot his own head off, I guess.
This
It's just
feels
like
more like a haunted house that you walk through rather than a
yeah.
movie you watch.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. And wait, the thing is, like, okay, the main sheriff sucks. He's obviously well torn apart by the death of his wife, but he's very much letting his emotions dictate every single element of his actions at his professional job. And his partner though is like, I don't agree with how you're acting. This isn't protocol, and we need to follow protocol and do things the right way. And so we know that at least one person at the sheriff's office is competent.
Yeah.
And so like he's never going to question how none of this evidence even remotely lines up. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big frame job to pull off, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we have to suspend disbelief
I
for
mean,
quite a bit
you
here.
can't, yeah, you really can't think about it too. It's funny because we have been shitting on this movie a lot. I actually didn't mind it. I enjoyed it, and
Mhm.
with the twist and everything, I was like, okay, like I wasn't expecting that. It was fun, it was silly. You know, it gets pretty stupid at times, but it is always cool to see a final girl subversion,
Yes, the
right?
twist made her, I feel like, made it all worth it.
Yeah,
Because up until that point, I was like, oh my God, like, I'm just going to be shitting all over this movie. And
yeah.
then the twist happened. I was like, okay, I get it now. I
I was
get,
like, okay, now I get
yeah.
why this was
Uh-huh.
recommended to us
Uh-huh.
because it's clear why, you know, someone would want to hear our opinion on the final girl that we don't see very often, which is uh
Like an
like
Avenger.
an Avenger. Yeah, an Avenger. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought I think the reason, and I will say, I think the reason I had such a bitter taste was I watched it during a movie binge for the podcast and for our guest spots, and I watched it in between Jeepers Creepers and the original Nightmare on Elm Street. And I guess we can say about Ugly Stepsister for our last episode. I watched it in between all these incredible movies,
That's a
among
tough
others. I
lineup
can't
because
even
those are
remember.
amazing.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there were like two others now. I can't even remember what they were. But and then this movie was in the middle of it, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh. So maybe
Yeah.
if I had seen this on its own, I would have enjoyed it because there are enjoyable elements, like you were saying. It's fine. It's not.
It's fine.
It's
It feels like a
fine.
TV movie.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Um, which yeah,
Which
I
is,
think
there's nothing wrong with that.
nothing wrong with that. But yeah, it's like we always say, if they like just pick a lane,
Pick a
go
lane.
full crazy from the start, or at least build up in a way that we can buy it when it happens.
Yeah, maybe go a little bit more towards Amy in Gone Girl. Give us
Yeah,
more
yeah,
Amy,
totally.
where you see that tension, that initial tension more.
Yeah,
Maybe we get a little bit more of the tension between her and her parents,
yeah.
and whatever happened here. And maybe we get more like the Julie situation where
Hmm.
she's not doing well in school. So we see, I don't know, we get higher stakes maybe. And
Yeah,
I guess their stakes are already pretty high, but maybe we get more exposition
yeah.
that make them more plausible and more
Right.
believable, or we go the complete opposite
Yeah.
direction and lean into full
Or
camp,
even make it supernatural. I don't care.
or make
Like
it
make
supernatural.
it fucking crazy. We don't need another. I mean, well, Michael Myers is obviously supernatural now, but he didn't like, you
Yeah,
know, at the
the
start
first
you could
three.
buy it. Well, I mean, well, but then he did get shot a bunch and then he was fine. So I guess
I
he's
mean
kind of always
the
been
yeah,
super.
the
But you know what
Jason.
I mean? Like give us something different. I will say there was a couple of lines that really made me laugh. I appreciated the whole thing with the best friend and the like kind of potty humor there because it was so
That was
unexpected.
really
It was
unexpected. There's
really
lots of poop
unexpected.
jokes.
Yeah, so Deena goes to babysit the kid, and then she's like talking about how Maddie is, or Hattie, I think, is like at home with diarrhea. Like she literally just says to the kid, like that's what she's struggling with, and he's like, oh yeah, she always farts and blames it on the dog, and we don't even have a dog. Just like, okay.
I thought the same exact thing. That was one of my notes. Like, there's a lot of potty humor in this
It's
movie.
weird.
Um, yeah, it's there. I feel like there are a lot of different ways because we find out that it was Dina who basically drugged her friend to make her sick to stay home so that her
Yeah.
friend would call her to babysit Max and get like yeah. So that was part of Dina's plan.
That's
So
a
it was
fucked
Dina
up
that
thing
did
to
it.
do.
And I was like, there's so many other things that you could have done to keep. I mean, I guess
Honestly.
giving her food poisoning is a very like okay, she's definitely staying home tonight. She's not going anywhere. So I guess that like is kind of a foolproof situation,
I don't know,
but
slash your tires or something. Well, I don't know. Like, I've, as someone who's had food poisoning a few times, I'm like, that is
yeah.
evil, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's it's a weird movie.
It is.
It's a little bit all over the place, but
Well,
yeah.
what are some of the more like memorable scenes would you say? Because we've been kind of like generically speaking about
Uh,
it.
I liked when, and this, it takes way too long to get there, but I liked when the tension is starting to ramp up in the house. Where
Oh
she's
yeah.
starting to like,
Yeah.
there's actually a moment that I really liked, which later we find out that was just an act, but where she's starting to get freaked out and she is sitting on the couch and she kind of like sinks into herself on the couch, like she's like trying to hide away from the world, like she's so alone
Yeah.
in that moment, and she's uh,
Vulnerable.
we thought very vulnerable and scared, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I feel that, like I feel it. um and then there's that moment when she hears the glass break
Hmm.
upstairs in the room, and then I didn't fully understand why there was all the like red string attaching all the photos and everything, because she was kind of acting like, oh my god, did I just discover
Yeah.
the killer's lair or something? And I was like, that's a strange reaction. But when she hears the glass break
Julie.
and yeah, exactly. Oh
There's
my
so
god,
much
Julie,
crossover here.
ridiculous. And I'm sure that this director was fans of those movies,
Yeah.
right? But the glass breaking was the uh-oh moment for me, where you can
Hmm.
see in her face is like, if you're babysitting in a house and you're hearing noises and you're seeing weird things, you can still kind of pretend like you're not. You can still kind of
Hmm.
hope that that's not what you think it is. But then when you hear glass breaking, you know you're in danger,
Yeah.
like active danger. And of course she wasn't, because anyway, but in a normal situations, so that's why like I thought that that worked really like a lot for me. Um how about you?
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me is the corpse paint was really fun.
Yeah. It's just a cool
And
choice to not have
yeah,
her just wear the dumb mask. She
yeah,
full on does like a full face. It's pretty good
yeah.
Halloween makeup, so
It is. It is. I did my Eric and I did corpse paint last year for Halloween, and it
that's right.
takes a long time. It's
Yeah.
very it's a commitment for sure.
And then it's effective because she's like crying it
Hmm.
off at times,
Hmm.
and she has these big eyes. She's very expressive, and
Hmm.
so that
Yeah,
was a cool visual for sure.
yeah. That was my favorite one. Um, I feel like this wasn't a scene necessarily. This is just kind of moving on to a theme I picked up. I felt a little bit like it was trying to touch on this like power dynamic between the two women.
Yeah,
That one's a predator and a prey, but then they kind of blur together.
yeah, I
And
got that too.
that I I would be interested in seeing that taken further in a different movie in a
I
different
think
context.
I think that was done uh, exponentially better in The Hunt.
Yes. Okay, that's yes. Yes, exactly.
I mean, I know we both love that movie, but
Yeah.
yeah, in terms of the hunter becoming the
That's
hunted
a
and
good
the
point.
dynamic between the two women, and I mean, not, like that's one of the best for that trope.
It's a really, I didn't even think of that. That's a really good point. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that solved that problem. Okay. Um, what do you think about the acting and the writing? I think we kind of already touched on all that, but what, if you could sum it up?
There, um, the writing is a little uneven. Um, you can sense what they're trying to do, but I don't know that they fully succeed with what they're
Hmm.
trying to do.
I think the writing is the weakest part.
Probably, yeah.
I think you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah. Because
Um,
everything else is like you said, everything else is there.
yeah, I really liked. There were a few moments of acting that I really liked from Jessica. Sorry, I forgot. Jessica Clement is the actress. Forgot her name for a second. Playing Deena. The moment when she manages to get the drop on the killer and drug her, like right at the start, or right at the start of their like climactic final battle, she kind of beams this creepy smile like right away,
Yeah,
like
you're
I
right.
got you.
Yeah,
And
that
I
is a
was
good
like,
one.
oh, okay.
That's a good
Because
one.
that was the most intriguing thing that she had done at that point. I was like, oh, we're seeing the personality now,
Hmm.
even if it doesn't really feel like it fits with the personality that we knew. Um, yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I sign off on all that. Um, I think I saw some reviews that say it's like a 90-minute distraction, and it's just like I saw some pretty gnarly reviews. I also read the director had like an AMA on Reddit, and he was really proud of it. And again, I don't like being so critical on people's art because people put a
I
lot of
know.
love and effort into them.
Especially
So
like a creative team who's still emerging into like the
yeah.
horror world.
And everyone starts somewhere, and even the big names put out clunkers, and
Yeah.
people like them, they don't like them. It resonates with some, it doesn't resonate with others. So I don't want to, like, again, I don't want to. And then, of course, our listener, our Scream thing that recommended it or requested it. I mean, I don't I don't begrudge anyone who likes this movie. I think it's great. Like, and I everyone has their thing. And I think it's too soon to tell if it's going to inspire any more female-driven, revenge
Yeah.
slashers. It definitely has like a Fear Street and a Gone, like I said, Gone Girl vibe.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of crossover with Halloween and a lot, as we've said, a lot of crossover with Julie from I Know What You Did Last Summer. So,
Do you think they only made the villain a woman to throw you off the scent?
yeah.
Because in babysitter killer slasher movies, it's always a man, like
Yeah.
99% of the time. So like I'm wondering if that like character, and she's not really a character in the movie.
Mhm.
Like that's the thing. It's not like you're constantly wondering, "Oh, is it this person, this person, this person?" Because then you find out it was this character that was seen for like 30 seconds
Yeah.
earlier. So like
That's
why would you suspect
Yeah, that's the
them?
thing. She's such a minor, like you wouldn't, there was no
Yeah.
like breadcrumbs there.
I guess I'm just wondering if making her female was another intentional subversion of the like this particular slasher genre. I don't know.
Maybe. And if that's the case, that's interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
What would you give her on our blood spatter badassery rating?
I gave her two.
Okay.
Did you give her one?
I gave her two also.
Okay, I give her. I
Yeah.
mean, she does get stabbed in both thighs,
Yeah.
and she gets, but doesn't really seem to bother her that much in the moment. She,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny because the sheriff kills the villain, and then they're still sitting there, and she's in the chair, and I'm like, she's gonna bleed out. She gets
Yeah.
stabbed in both quads,
Yeah.
and there's arteries there,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
maybe get her some assistance. Like now, what did the hospital say when she showed up with like stab wounds?
Yeah. Don't they have to like file
They
police
have
reports and stuff?
to.
Yeah. Yeah.
How would
Yeah.
she explain having stab wounds in both legs?
100%.
Anyway,
100%. Yeah, I gave her two. What was your final girl takeaway slash survival tip?
I mean, we've said it in various forums before, but don't hesitate. Like you remember this is like what the issue that I had with what's her face from again, I know what you did last summer, but not Julie. What was her name again?
Helen.
Helen. When she was in the alley and then she abruptly stopped running to what? Look around, you would have been fine. So it's the same thing. Like, don't hesitate. You have the gun pointed at the killer. You said your sister's fucking name. You did the thing. Just put it, finish it. Finish it.
Yeah.
How about you?
Okay. I'm gonna be honest and say I didn't and admit I didn't have one.
Okay.
I couldn't find one. It's
Yeah.
like I'm trying to think of I've been trying to think of one since I finished watching it. Um, I can't think of anything
Well,
other
well,
than something about dogs dying.
get a lawyer. Like, ask for a
There's a good
lawyer.
one. There it is. Get a lawyer. It's a good one. All right. Well, I think we covered Deena. Interesting movie. Thank you to our Scream thing that recommended and requested it.
Yeah.
We love listener requests. So if you have one, hit us up. Chances are she's probably on our list already.
Oh yeah.
But like with this one, she wasn't. So this was a very pleasant surprise to not have her already on our list. So if you have one, let us know. We want to do all the listener requests, and of course we get the very typical like Sydney Prescott's and stuff like that. So we're planning. Don't worry, we're planning on those.
Mhm.
But if you could, as I always say, leave a rating and review. It really helps us with the algorithm. Also helps us look legit, and we have hundreds more listeners scream things and we have reviews. That would be wonderful. We didn't mention at the beginning updates, but we're going to be launching our Patreon, and we're going to have merch just in time for the holidays. So stick around for that. And yeah, I think that's everything. I think the haunted house has been kept.
Yeah, the
But
haunted house is,
I'm going to call
yeah,
it
I
that
like that.
now. The haunted
I
housekeeping.
support that. That's very, very cute. Yeah, just to really quickly pile on that, I think it's actually really flattering to receive listener requests because
Absolutely.
that means that you enjoy what we do and you want to hear us do it about a movie that you care about. And I'm very touched by
Yeah,
that.
same.
So
Thank you, Nick. We appreciate it. 100%. Yeah, we covered everything. House has
yeah.
been kept. Thank you for joining us again. We're going to be back next week. This is such a fun season. We have some fun ones coming up. Yeah, I think the next one is yours, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It is.
Yep. So stay tuned for that. Scream things.
All right. And until the next Final Girl Showdown, don't fear the Reaper.
Ooh, I love it.
I
And
love the needle drop at the end of this
yep,
movie.
yep.
I was like, okay, it's so obvious, but it works so well.
Yep.
I love it. So
Yeah, and you got to have the cowbell bell too.
you have to.
Thanks, everyone. Stay
Kelly, bye.
spooky. I'm Sarah. Stay spooky. Bye.